When you have the most successful driver in F1 history driving on your team, it changes how you do things. It shapes the decisions you make, the personnel you have, and it gives the team motivation that if they do their job right, they have a driver who will deliver. Lewis Hamilton's move to Ferrari next season is more than just the end of an era for Mercedes. It's causing team changes which could never have happened while Hamilton was still on the team. And, in anticipation of Hamilton's arrival, Ferrari knows that if they get their car right, Lewis will deliver, and that is causing some drastic changes. Today, I'll check out the impact that Hamilton is having on both Mercedes and Ferrari in anticipation of his move later in the year, so don't go anywhere. Lewis Hamilton's decision to cut his ties with Mercedes and make a move to Ferrari for the 2025 F1 season shook the sport to its core. Mercedes had provided Hamilton with the platform from which he won 6 drivers' titles, secured his 100th race win, and became Formula One's most successful ever driver. However, in Formula One, you're only ever as good as your last race, something that Mercedes discovered in the most painful manner. By the end of 2023, memories of their title-winning years were just that. While Toto and Lewis may have been able to reminisce about winning races at their annual Christmas get-together, there was nothing to celebrate. Hamilton had gone 2 straight seasons without a race win, the only 2 winless seasons of his career, and he was feeling cut off by the team. They hadn't paid attention to his requests or feedback for car changes, and they hadn't really improved the car by doing what they wanted either, not to a point where Hamilton could get back to his winning ways anyway. Of course, Lewis has to take some of the blame for the rift that opened up between him and the team. His constant negativity in the press and over the team radio did nothing to help improve the car or the team's morale. How would you feel if the most successful person ever at your job constantly told you how badly you were doing? It wouldn't feel great, would it? Perhaps then, Hamilton's move to Ferrari wasn't that much of a surprise after all, though it is having a massive impact on both teams. The future of Hamilton's race engineer, Peter Bonington, was a massive question mark. Bono has been Lewis's senior race engineer since he joined the Silver Arrows back in 2013. Before Lewis, Bono had race engineered for Michael Schumacher and Jenson Button, as well as a number of other drivers. However, it is his relationship with Hamilton that has really catapulted him into the spotlight. When Hamilton's move was announced, many expected Bono to follow his driver to Ferrari. From Ferrari's point of view, it would have helped Hamilton settle in, and Bono would bring a lot of experience to a pit wall that is in desperate need of a steady head to help make strategy calls. While Mercedes were keen to say that Bono couldn't leave with Hamilton, the 7-time world champion has continued to try and get his race engineer to come with him until very recently. Lewis explained the importance of Bono by saying, "Bono and we've been through thick and thin together, and I love the guy. We've had such a great relationship. I think we have the longest-standing engineer and driver relationship that's ever been in our sport, and that's something I'm really proud of," Hamilton said. "He's just head down at the desk always. He's just like my right-hand man. He's next to me all the time," he added. While there were questions over contract clauses that would stop Hamilton from taking Mercedes team members with him if he left the team, the rumors of Bono's potential transfer never really stopped until now. Having been Hamilton's race engineer for the past 12 years, Bonington has now been promoted to a new role as head of race engineering. While the promotion is with immediate effect, he'll continue to oversee Hamilton for the rest of the season as he transitions into his new role. Alongside his role as head of race engineering, he'll continue to engineer one of Mercedes' drivers in 2025 as the team seeks to capitalize upon his experience. Hamilton's successor at Mercedes is still yet to be confirmed, but current Formula 2 and Mercedes Junior Andrea Kimi Antonelli is the leading contender. Bono has reportedly been incredibly impressed by what he's seen from Antonelli while acting as trackside engineer during test sessions. Bono's promotion is something that may never have happened while Hamilton was at the team. With Mercedes essentially built around Lewis, Toto Wolff wouldn't have wanted to upset the status quo of the team by moving Bono into another role. With Hamilton on the way out though, Bono can balance his new role with race engineering for Antonelli, whom Mercedes have very high hopes for. It isn't just Mercedes though who are being impacted by Hamilton's move. Ferrari are a team under constant pressure. Due to their history in Formula One, they're always expected to be battling at the front, and their fanatical fan base, known as the Tifosi, make sure they never forget it. However, the addition of Hamilton to the team will ramp up that pressure. While Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc are exceptional drivers, they aren't Lewis Hamilton. They are hardened champions who have the experience and standing to call out their team in quite the same way that Lewis does. If the car isn't right at Ferrari, Hamilton won't be tamed by a PR team. He'll let the world know. Whether he's in the right for doing so is a completely different question, of course. Ferrari have to get their car sorted because a lack of development like we've seen from them this season won't be good enough, especially in Lewis's eyes. With that in mind, Ferrari are planning to overhaul their car for the 2025 season. Italian publication Formula Uno has revealed that Ferrari has taken the first definitive decisions over the design of the team's 2025 car. A revised wheelbase targeted at a more advanced center of pressure is on the horizon, yet arguably the most significant change concerns a move to a pull rod front suspension. Ferrari and their customer Haas, who buy a large number of their parts, are the only teams on the grid to use a combination of a push rod front suspension and a pull rod rear suspension. Every other team uses a push rod rear suspension, and then there is a 4-4 split over the pull and push rod at the front. The effectiveness of the suspension system is absolutely vital to performance in this generation of F1 cars, more so than it has ever been in F1 history. Due to the ground effect flaws, changes in ride height have a huge impact on the amount of downforce being created by the car. Changes in the amount of downforce being created can create instability in the car, which is especially awkward if the driver isn't expecting it. This instability can cause lockups, oversteer, understeer, or even a complete loss of control for the driver, which has a very obvious impact on performance. Part of the reason behind this decision by Ferrari is that they have had to set up their car this season to avoid porpoising, which has limited their performance somewhat. The move has also been inspired by Hamilton's driving style being closer in nature to that of Charles Leclerc than Leclerc's current teammate Carlos Sainz, who recently announced that he'll join Williams for 2025. Red Bull and McLaren already compete with a pull rod front suspension, which is understood to bring a clear aerodynamic advantage by improving airflow at the front of the car, specifically the complex underfloor, which generates a significant proportion of downforce under the current regulations. The change in suspension will require a new chassis to be built by Ferrari, but it'll give Hamilton something that he's been begging Mercedes for. Hamilton memorably complained that his seating position was too close to the front wheels at Mercedes in 2023, describing the feeling of sitting on the front wheels as one of the worst feelings when you're driving a car. As you can see from this image, which shows the seating position of Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari and Aston Martin, the Red Bull chassis, with its pull rod front suspension, places the driver far further back in the car compared to the three others, who are all using a push rod front suspension. It is a change which Hamilton will be very happy with, though whether it can improve Ferrari's performance or not remains to be seen. Ferrari's resistance to follow the crowd in terms of suspension design was driven by former technical director Enrico Cardile, who announced last month that he will join Aston Martin for F1 in 2025. Ferrari team principal Fred Vasseur has adopted the role on an interim basis, with Loic Serra set to become the Prancing Horses' new technical leader following his arrival from Mercedes in October. Do you think Ferrari will be able to provide Hamilton with a car he'll be happy with? Or are they going to continue to struggle in 2025? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and until next time, drive safe and bye for now.